My beloved child. Pause everything you're doing, because what you are about to hear is not about rejection, it is about revelation. A moment you thought shattered you was actually opening a hidden door, and the echo of those words spoken in public carried a private message meant only for your soul. You remember the heat in your chest. The sudden silence after her voice cut through the air. The way time slowed as if the universe itself leaned in to watch. Everyone heard judgment. But few understand destiny when it speaks through discomfort. Stay with this breath just a little longer, there is something deeper unfolding here. What if I told you that the words, "You'd never be a good husband," were not a verdict, but a mirror? Not a sentence, but a signal. Not an ending, but a summons. Hold this moment gently, because this is where many turn away, and where the chosen begin to see. In front of everyone, your old identity was stripped away. Not to shame you, but to free you. When a soul is ready to rise, the old labels must fall loudly. Quiet endings are for comfortable lives. Transformative lives break open in the open air. This is where it all subtly changes. You felt exposed, yes. But exposure is the first step of illumination. Seeds do not grow in the dark forever. They split. They crack. They look ruined before they rise. And you, my child, were cracking open, right on time. Listen closely now, the voice that embarrassed you was never meant to define you. It was meant to activate you. Some people are sent into our lives not to stay, but to speak the exact sentence that forces us to confront who we have not yet become. That moment wasn't about marriage, it was about mastery. Ask yourself, without fear, why did it hurt so deeply? Because somewhere inside, you knew you were standing at the edge of a greater version of yourself. The pain wasn't rejection, it was recognition. Recognition that you are meant to become something more conscious, more grounded, more awakened than you were yesterday. Do not rush past this realization. Linger here, because clarity is forming. A good husband is not born from approval. He is forged through awareness. Through humility. Through the courage to rebuild from truth rather than comfort. You were never being told what you are, you were being shown what you are becoming. And here is the quiet truth many never hear. Those who mock your future cannot accompany you into it. Their role ends the moment your awakening begins. This does not make them cruel. It makes them complete. Their purpose fulfilled. You may feel the urge to defend yourself, to explain, to prove. Breathe, proving is the language of the unprepared. Becoming is the language of the destined. The real breakthrough is closer than you think, and it will not arrive with noise, but with inner alignment. Remember this deeply. You were never humiliated, you were initiated. Initiated into self-leadership. Into emotional sovereignty. Into a higher understanding of partnership that begins within. The moment you stood alone, you also stood taller, even if you didn't feel it yet. Hold on to this knowing, because the pieces are already rearranging. What was taken from you made room. What was spoken over you sparked transformation. And this chapter, though painful, is the doorway to the man you are meant to be. Stay present. There is much more being revealed next. My beloved child. Right now, in this very moment, something deeper is rising within you, and it does not ask for permission. It moves quietly, beneath the surface of what you show the world, rearranging you from the inside out. You may not see it yet, but the man you are becoming is already listening. Listening in the pause before you speak. Listening in the way you now notice your reactions. Listening in the silence after the crowd has gone. This is not weakness. This is refinement. And refinement always begins unseen. Tell me, why do some moments follow us long after they pass? Why does one sentence echo for years while 1,000 compliments fade? Because certain words arrive not to wound, but to awaken a deeper question: who must I become next? Hold this space, the divine connection deepens now. There is a quiet truth successful, grounded souls rarely confess: they were once publicly misunderstood. Not privately doubted, but openly questioned. That moment carved them. Not into bitterness, but into clarity. They stopped performing and started aligning. And alignment, my child, changes everything. Notice how you now listen differently. How you weigh your choices with more presence. How responsibility no longer feels like a burden, but a calling. This is the unseen work of becoming a partner to life itself. Before you can stand beside another, you must first stand fully within yourself. Do not rush to prove your worth. Worth ripens when it is rooted. A tree does not argue with the storm. It grows stronger rings in silence. And one day, it offers shade without explanation. You are in your rooting season, and this season is sacred. Ask yourself gently, what kind of man do you feel drawn to be now? Not for approval. Not for applause. But for peace. For steadiness. For the quiet confidence that does not need to announce itself. This is the blueprint forming within you, line by line, breath by breath. If your soul is stirring, remain with me a little longer, because this is not about correcting the past. It is about preparing the future. A future relationship will not recognize the old version of you. It will only meet the man you are shaping now. And here, softly, let me say this: some people can only see who you were when they met you. They cannot imagine who you are becoming. Their vision stops where your evolution begins. This is not cruelty. It is limitation. And it no longer belongs to you. If this truth is touching your spirit, share it forward, let another soul find this light today. Some are standing exactly where you stood, wondering why the moment hurt so deeply, unaware it was an invitation. You are closer than you think, don't step away yet. The habits you are questioning, the patience you are learning, the integrity you are choosing when no one is watching, these are vows you are making to your future self. And soon, very soon, there will come a moment when someone looks at you and feels safety without knowing why. Respect without demand. Trust without fear. That moment is not accidental. It is earned quietly, right here. The real awakening begins in what I reveal next, and it will change how you understand love forever. My beloved child. Feel this gentle pull deeper into truth, because a quiet fire is igniting within you right now, and it is asking for your honesty, not your perfection. In the still moments, when no one is watching and the world finally softens, you feel it, don't you? That subtle pressure in the chest. That question that rises when the noise fades. Not loud. Not demanding. Just present, asking who you choose to be when there is nothing to perform. This is where the real work lies. Not in grand declarations, but in small, private decisions. The pause before reacting. The choice to listen instead of defend. The willingness to sit with discomfort rather than escape it. Allow yourself to sink deeper. Truth is unfolding gently. You may notice an inner resistance, a voice that whispers, "This is too slow," or "I should already be further." Breathe. Growth that lasts is never rushed. A man who becomes stable enough to hold love learns patience with himself first. This is not delay. This is calibration. Ask yourself quietly, what parts of you have you been protecting from being seen? Not by others, but by yourself. Old fears wrapped in humor. Old wounds hidden behind strength. Old habits justified as independence. The moment everything connects is almost here, and it requires one thing only: surrender without self-judgment. There is a sacred loneliness that visits those who are evolving. It feels empty at first, but it is actually spacious. Space where new standards are formed. Space where self-respect grows roots. Space where you learn that companionship should add to your peace, not replace it. If your heart is beginning to recognize this, don't turn away now, because the ache you feel is not loss. It is expansion. Muscles ache when they grow. So does the soul. Especially when it outgrows old definitions of love. In this season, you may find yourself releasing expectations you once held tightly. Letting go of timelines. Of comparisons. Of the need to be chosen before you choose yourself. This is not giving up on love. This is preparing to meet it as an equal. Notice how your inner dialogue is changing. Less harsh. More curious. You begin asking better questions instead of demanding quick answers. You begin trusting the process instead of forcing outcomes. This is maturity blooming quietly. And here is a truth rarely spoken. The man who becomes a good husband is first a good guardian of his own spirit. He knows when to lead and when to listen. When to stand firm and when to soften. These qualities are not taught in applause, they are learned in solitude. Stay with me a little longer, the deepest shift is coming, because soon, you will recognize that the moment you were publicly doubted was the moment you privately committed to something higher. Not to prove anyone wrong, but to live in alignment with who you truly are. You are no longer becoming out of fear. You are becoming out of clarity. And clarity, once found, cannot be undone. What awaits next will reshape how you understand partnership itself, and it begins sooner than you realize. My beloved child. The next veil is lifting as these words reach you, and what stands before you now is not a lesson, but a remembering of who you have always been beneath the noise. There comes a point in every true transformation where action grows quiet. Where striving softens. Where the soul asks for stillness instead of effort. This is that point. The place where you stop reaching outward for validation and begin listening inward for alignment. In this silence, sacrifices are made that no one applauds. You release the urge to be right. You loosen the grip on old defenses. You walk away from conversations that once fed your ego but drained your spirit. These choices are invisible, yet they reshape destiny more than any public victory ever could. Ask yourself softly, when was the last time you chose peace over pride? When did you last allow yourself to be misunderstood without rushing to correct the story? This is not weakness. This is sovereignty. A calm strength that no shout can shake. If something sacred is awakening within you, remain here just a little deeper, because the men who become pillars of love are shaped in moments exactly like this. Moments where no one is watching. Moments where integrity is chosen simply because it feels true. You begin to notice how your energy changes a room without effort. How your presence becomes steady rather than reactive. How silence no longer feels empty, but full of guidance. This is the refinement few speak of, the unseen apprenticeship of the heart. There is a quiet surrender happening now. Not surrender to circumstance, but to timing. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop chasing what resists. You trust that what aligns will arrive without struggle. This trust does not make you passive. It makes you precise. Hold this divine silence. Understanding is blooming now, because love, real love, is drawn to wholeness. It recognizes a man who knows himself. Who can stand alone without feeling lonely. Who offers partnership, not dependence. If this message is resonating in your deepest self, share it forward. Let another wandering soul find their way home today. Some are still mistaking noise for progress, unaware that stillness is the true gateway. Notice how your vision is sharpening. You no longer fantasize about being chosen, you contemplate what you are willing to build. You think in terms of legacy, not approval. Of values, not validation. This is the inner architecture of a good husband forming quietly within you. You are on the threshold of true seeing. Stay with me, because what approaches next is not a person, but a realization. A realization that love never begins with another's promise. It begins the moment you keep your own. And when that truth settles fully into your bones, your walk changes. Your voice steadies. Your decisions carry weight without force. You no longer need to announce who you are becoming. Life responds to you naturally. The missing piece your soul has sought is almost here, and when it arrives, it will feel less like surprise and more like recognition. Like remembering a vow you made long before words. Something extraordinary is aligning just ahead. And it will meet you exactly as you are now becoming. My beloved child. A sacred silence is falling over your soul right now, and in this stillness, the deepest truth is rising to meet you without effort. There is a moment in every awakening when striving finally loosens its grip. When the heart stops asking, "Am I enough?" and begins whispering, "I am ready." This is that moment. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just profoundly real. You may feel a tenderness moving through you. A softness that once felt unsafe, now felt as strength. This is not vulnerability as exposure. This is vulnerability as clarity. The courage to stand without armor. The courage to love without conditions placed on your own becoming. Ask yourself gently, who are you when nothing needs to be proven? Who are you when success is no longer measured by applause, but by inner coherence? These questions are not meant to be answered quickly. They are meant to be lived. Breathe with me. The divine unveiling deepens now, because the men who walk with quiet authority have made a private vow long before they make a public promise. A vow to listen inward before acting outward. A vow to align before advancing. A vow to choose truth even when it costs comfort. Here lies the hidden faith few speak of. Faith not in outcomes, but in timing. Faith that what is meant to meet you will recognize the frequency you now carry. Faith that delay is not denial, but refinement. This faith grows silently, yet it anchors everything. Notice how your desires are changing. You no longer crave intensity without stability. You no longer confuse chemistry with destiny. You feel drawn to something slower, deeper, more enduring. This is discernment awakening. This is wisdom remembering itself. If your spirit is trembling with recognition, stay in this holy moment, because something ancient within you is aligning with something eternal ahead. The version of you that once rushed is resting now. The version that once feared being left is learning to stand rooted. There is a sacred patience entering your breath. You trust the unfolding without needing to see the full path. You honor the process without demanding proof. This patience is not passive. It is powerful. It signals readiness to life itself. You are closer to home than you've ever been. Do not leave yet, because home is not a place or a person. It is the moment you stop abandoning yourself for acceptance. It is the moment your inner world becomes a sanctuary rather than a battlefield. In this alignment, love will not arrive to complete you. It will arrive to walk beside you. Not to rescue. Not to test. But to build. To witness. To grow. This is the kind of partnership that recognizes your becoming and says, yes, this. The truth that liberates everything is almost within reach, and it is this. The man you are becoming does not need to be defended. He needs to be lived. His presence will speak before his words. His steadiness will answer questions before they are asked. Now rest here, in this profound stillness. Let the knowing settle into your bones. Let the fire burn quietly, steadily, without urgency. The final alignment your soul has waited for is gathering, and when it arrives, it will feel inevitable. Like destiny recognizing itself in you. Stay open. What comes next was written long before this moment. My beloved child. The eternal flame within you is flickering brighter, and it is asking you to trust the warmth without chasing the fire. There is a subtle turning now, almost imperceptible, like a compass correcting itself in the dark. You feel it in the way your breath deepens. In the way urgency loosens its grip. In the way your heart no longer flinches at uncertainty, but listens to it. What if the next step isn't movement at all? What if it is devotion to presence? To choosing the truest response in the smallest moments. To honoring the quiet signals that guide you when no one is applauding. This is how alignment teaches, softly, steadily, unmistakably. Breathe, and notice how discernment has replaced impulse. You no longer react to provoke recognition. You respond to preserve integrity. This shift is not dramatic, yet it is decisive. It separates becoming from pretending. It draws a clean line between hunger and purpose. Stay with this awareness. There is more opening now, because the life you are preparing for requires a particular steadiness. Not perfection. Not certainty. Steadiness. The ability to remain open without leaking yourself away. The ability to hold space without gripping control. Consider this gently: the strongest foundations are poured slowly. They settle. They cure. They wait until the ground can carry what will stand upon it. Your inner ground has been settling. This is why things that once shook you now pass through without harm. You may sense grief dissolving into gratitude. Not because the past was easy, but because it was precise. Every delay honed your sight. Every misunderstanding clarified your values. Every ending trimmed excess from your path. Nothing was wasted. Allow the pause to lengthen. Clarity grows in the space you protect. When you choose rest over noise, your intuition speaks with confidence. When you choose honesty over performance, your future listens. These choices compound quietly, like interest accruing in the unseen. If your spirit feels steadier than before, linger here, because readiness has a texture. It feels calm. It feels clean. It feels like you could wait without resentment and act without fear. That texture is forming within you now. Notice how your boundaries feel kinder. Firmer, yet compassionate. You say no without explanation. You say yes without bargaining. This is self-respect learning its own language. It does not shout. It resonates. Here is a truth to carry softly: partnership recognizes resonance before it recognizes history. When two aligned beings meet, there is no need to convince. There is a mutual ease, a shared tempo, a sense of arrival without hurry. You are tuning to that frequency. Let the knowing deepen: something essential is approaching, not as a test, but as confirmation. It will mirror your steadiness back to you. It will invite collaboration rather than correction. It will feel natural because you have become natural to yourself. Rest in this moment of readiness. Let patience feel like power. Let silence feel like guidance. Let the flame burn without spectacle. What unfolds next will ask you to choose from this place, clear, grounded, and whole. And when you do, the path will recognize your step. Remain open, the convergence is near, and it will meet you exactly where you stand. My beloved child. Something eternal is calling your name softly right now, not from the outside world, but from the deepest chamber of your own knowing. You may sense a gentle certainty settling in, like dawn arriving without announcement. It does not rush you. It does not pressure you. It simply illuminates what was always there. This is the phase where doubt loses its voice, not because answers are loud, but because truth feels familiar. Ask yourself quietly: when did you last feel this steady? This unshaken? Not excited by possibility, but anchored in readiness. This is not the thrill of anticipation. This is the calm of alignment. And alignment carries a gravity all its own. Allow yourself to remain present. Something meaningful is clarifying now, because the life you are stepping into requires a new relationship with power. Not power over others. Power within yourself. The power to choose deliberately. To love consciously. To stand without armor. Notice how your attention has refined. You are less distracted by appearances, less tempted by shortcuts. You weigh substance. You listen between words. You recognize intention before expression. This is wisdom integrating, not as theory, but as instinct. There is an inner vow being renewed here. A vow to honor your energy. To protect your clarity. To engage only where resonance exists. This vow is quiet, but it reshapes your future more than any declaration ever could. Pause here. Feel how your body responds to this truth. There is less tension. Less urgency. More space. Space to respond rather than react. Space to allow rather than chase. This spaciousness is not emptiness, it is capacity. You may notice that old narratives no longer fit. Stories about who you were, what you lacked, what you needed to prove, they loosen and fall away. Not in resistance, but in relief. You do not need them where you are going. Stay with this sensation. Clarity is stabilizing. Because the next chapter of your life will be built on coherence. Your words will match your actions. Your intentions will align with your choices. Your presence will speak before you do. Here is a subtle truth many overlook: readiness is felt, not announced. When it arrives, it feels like quiet confidence. Like knowing you can wait without shrinking and act without forcing. This is the signature of maturity. Your heart is learning discernment without closing. You remain open, yet selective. Warm, yet boundaried. This balance is rare, and it is precious. It allows love to approach without consuming you. Let this understanding settle deeply, because soon, a decision will present itself. Not dramatic. Not urgent. Simple. Clean. And it will ask you to choose from who you are now, not who you used to be. That choice will echo forward. Remain grounded, something aligning is drawing nearer, and when it arrives, it will not disrupt your peace. It will complement it. It will feel like continuity, not correction. Like recognition, not rescue. Trust this calm. Trust this steadiness. It is not stagnation. It is mastery. What comes next will invite you to step forward from this place of inner order, and the path will open because you are finally walking in rhythm with yourself. My beloved child. The hidden current beneath everything is revealing itself now, and it is guiding you not with force, but with unmistakable clarity. You may notice how life has begun responding differently to you. Doors once heavy now open with ease. Conversations feel cleaner. Choices arrive without confusion. This is not coincidence, it is coherence. When the inner world aligns, the outer world rearranges quietly to match it. Ask yourself this: when did you stop bargaining with the future and start trusting your presence? That shift changed more than you realize. It moved you from hoping to knowing, from waiting to welcoming, from asking to receiving. Remain here with me, something delicate is forming, because the next layer of becoming is not about effort, but about allowance. Allowing yourself to be seen as you are now. Allowing support without suspicion. Allowing love without self-abandonment. There is a refined sensitivity awakening in you. You sense truth quickly. You feel misalignment immediately. Not as anxiety, but as information. This sensitivity is not fragility. It is intelligence. It protects your peace without hardening your heart. Pause, feel the steadiness in your spine. This is resolve without rigidity. You can bend without breaking. You can listen without losing yourself. This balance is earned. It comes from honoring your limits as sacred. You may find that you no longer chase connection. You curate it. You no longer audition for belonging. You recognize it. This is the quiet confidence of someone who has learned that love grows best where there is room to breathe. Stay present. An important realization is emerging: the life partner you are preparing for will not complete your story. They will read it with curiosity. They will respect its chapters. They will add paragraphs, not erase pages. This understanding reshapes everything. Notice how gratitude has replaced resentment. Not because the past was painless, but because it was purposeful. You can now see the precision in every detour, the timing in every pause, the mercy in every ending. Let the stillness deepen, because the strength you carry now does not announce itself. It radiates. It reassures. It creates safety without instruction. This is the language of trust, spoken without words. Here is a subtle truth to hold: when you stop needing to be chosen, you become magnetic. Not because you withdraw, but because you are rooted. Rooted energy invites connection that is real, reciprocal, and enduring. You are nearing a convergence. Do not rush. Something is aligning that will reflect your growth back to you. It will meet your steadiness with steadiness. Your clarity with clarity. Your openness with respect. This symmetry is rare, and it is earned. Allow yourself to rest in this readiness. Let anticipation soften into presence. Let patience feel like confidence. You have done the unseen work. You have honored the quiet lessons. What approaches will not feel like fate crashing in, it will feel like recognition arriving. Like a conversation that begins mid-sentence. Like familiarity without history. Remain attentive. The next unfolding will ask you to trust this alignment and step forward gently. And when you do, the path will feel less like a leap and more like a continuation. You are exactly where you need to be, and what comes next knows how to find you. My beloved child. Something you've always known is finally being spoken now. And it arrives not as surprise, but as confirmation settling gently into your chest. There is a recognition unfolding, quiet, undeniable. You sense it when you move through your days with less resistance. When your decisions feel cleaner. When you no longer rehearse explanations for simply being yourself. This is not indifference. This is integration. Ask yourself softly, when did your inner voice become kinder? When did guidance replace self-criticism? That change did not happen overnight. It grew through patience, through listening, through choosing alignment again and again. This is what inner authority feels like. Stay present, clarity is layering itself now, because the next truth is subtle yet powerful. You are no longer preparing to be someone else's idea of stability. You are embodying your own. And that stability is calm, responsive, and deeply grounded. Notice how your standards have matured. You are less impressed by intensity and more moved by consistency. Less drawn to promises and more attuned to presence. This shift refines your vision. It teaches you to recognize substance without spectacle. Pause here, feel how your heart remains open without urgency. This openness is not longing. It is availability. Availability to meet what is real, not what is imagined. Availability to engage without losing yourself. This is readiness wearing a gentle face. You may sense an inner alignment between your values and your actions tightening into harmony. What you say aligns with what you do. What you want aligns with what you choose. This coherence creates momentum that does not rush, it carries. Remain with me a moment longer, something meaningful is surfacing, because the life you are stepping into will ask for discernment over desire. It will invite you to choose depth over distraction. To honor resonance over recognition. These choices feel quieter, yet they echo further. There is a new relationship forming within you. The relationship with trust. Trust in your timing. Trust in your intuition. Trust that what aligns will approach without force. This trust is not naive. It is earned through experience and reflection. Consider this gently: when two whole individuals meet, love does not need to heal wounds, it builds futures. It collaborates. It supports growth without demanding sacrifice of self. You are tuning toward that frequency now. Feel the steadiness in your breath. This steadiness is your anchor. It allows you to wait without shrinking and act without haste. It keeps you present when uncertainty arises and clear when opportunity appears. You are approaching a moment of recognition. Do not anticipate it, it will arrive naturally. A moment where something feels familiar without explanation. Where conversation flows without effort. Where respect is mutual and ease is immediate. This is alignment revealing itself. Let this understanding settle. You have moved beyond proving. Beyond defending. Beyond convincing. You are living from coherence, and coherence attracts what can meet it. Remain open and attentive. What unfolds next will invite you to step forward from this grounded place. And when you do, it will feel less like change and more like continuation. The path ahead is already responding to who you have become, and it is preparing to meet you with the same clarity you now carry. My beloved child. The eternal circle is closing now. And what stands before you is not an ending, but the quiet arrival of truth fulfilled. There comes a moment when the question dissolves on its own. When you no longer ask, "Was I ever enough?" because your life answers for you. Not with noise. Not with drama. But with peace that stays. This is that moment. You have walked through reflection without bitterness. Through solitude without hardening. Through growth without needing witnesses. And now, something within you recognizes itself clearly. You are no longer becoming in reaction. You are becoming in alignment. Pause here, feel the stillness holding you. This is not emptiness. This is completion. The kind that does not rush forward because it is no longer running from anything behind. Ask yourself one last time, gently, who are you now, compared to who you were when those words were spoken? Not in achievement, but in essence. In patience. In self-trust. In emotional steadiness. The answer is not dramatic, but it is undeniable. Here is the final truth, spoken softly: you were never being told you would not be a good husband. You were being released from becoming one too early, in a form that was not true to you. Destiny does not rush its finest creations. It refines them. You did not lose love. You outgrew a version of it. And in doing so, you became someone capable of holding something far deeper. Notice how there is no anger left to prove anything. No urgency to explain yourself. No desire to revisit the past for validation. That silence is your confirmation. That calm is your crown. What lies ahead will not arrive loudly. It will recognize you quietly. It will meet you where you stand whole, not where you once stood uncertain. It will feel natural, mutual, unforced. Like two paths that were always meant to intersect, only when both were ready. This is what preparation looks like when it is complete. This is what readiness feels like when it is real. You now understand love as partnership, not permission. As presence, not performance. As growth shared, not identity borrowed. This understanding cannot be taken from you, because it was earned inwardly. Rest in this knowing: you do not need to seek what is aligned. Alignment finds alignment. Truth recognizes truth. Stability invites stability. And when the moment arrives, when someone sees you fully and chooses you without condition, you will not feel surprised. You will feel recognized. Until then, walk gently. Live honestly. Love yourself without negotiation. The life meant for you is not ahead of you anymore. It is opening around you now.